everybody. So, welcome to my show, Living in My Purpose. My name is Diana Pasha, and I have two very special guests who will be joining me to talk about the boy child. I'll give them a chance to introduce themselves.
My name is Dr. Migosi, and I'm happy to be in this show of Diana Pasha talking about the boy child in our society.
So hello everyone, my name is Chege, and today in Diana show we'll be discussing about boy child. Yes.
So, thank you very much, Dr. Migosi and Mr. Chege. So, I believe the boys play an important role in our society, and it's important to give them a chance to share their experiences, their challenges, and their achievements, and also their potential. So, I'd love to hear your insights, Dr. Migosi. I'd love to hear your insights about how do you think the society plays a role in shaping the growth of the boy child from the beginning to the onset of their lives, the challenges, how the society comes in to help shape their future and their achievements.
Thank you, Diana. I'm happy to be in this show. It's a very important show, and I believe that we are going to talk more about it. Um, in the 70s and in the 80s, we had very few girls going to high school or joining the universities and other places of higher learning. And therefore, in those days, people were living in the traditional way. And they insisted on taking the boy child to school and making sure that the boy child is taken care of. And the boy child was really taken care of. That's why we see our first crop of people, of men, they were sponsored to go to abroad to study, whereas many girls were left out. But then things changed thereafter with the political paradigm. And they started talking about girl child. They were talking all the time about girl child. They stressed about girl child. They forgot about the boy child. Soon, the girls started doing very well, and our boys went to the ghetto. They started smoking, taking drugs. They went to many jobs. As we are talking in this current time and the current dispensation, the boy child, and particularly in this nation, is almost neglected. That's why we see, if you go on the road, you will see many girls driving, but many of our boys are in the ghetto smoking and taking gum and taking all sorts of things. So something must be done now to be able to change the thinking about the boy child and how they ought to be treated, to have some inequality, because an inequality was introduced in the 80s and in the 90s, which has subsequently completely changed the way the boy child ought to be in our society.
Yeah, thank you very much for your input, Dr. Migosi. What I'm getting here is that the boy child has been neglected. I'm hearing drug abuse and crimes, and it's important to talk about this because from this is where we'll get solutions on how we can be able to empower the boy child so that we can help them overcome their challenges and be better individuals in our community. So I'd love to hear from Mr. Chege. What are some of your personal experiences or challenges that you've undergone as a man in our society?
Okay, for me, what I can say as a boy child, uh, according to my experiences and how I view the society at large, it is true we live in the same society, the same community, and uh, when I just look around and my friends who I refer to them, you find not only drugs and maybe peer pressure and bad influence that is making these boys to go into drugs. There are challenges that boys faces in the current society, and it is not spoken. We find there is more dominance and more care is taken to a girl child, and it's likely a boy child is left behind. You hear boys engaging in crime, drug abuse. We are part of this system, and what I can say is that as I see young boys, they are really into drugs, they are depressed, they are lacking good guidance, good morals. I think what I see around is that parents are failing, a society is not supporting a boy child, because it's like the boy child has been neglected, and you find if because of the stereotype, you find the stereotype of boys will not communicate when they have problem, so they just keep quiet because of the stereotype. We ni mwanaume, ukiumia unafaa ukaa ngumu kama mwanaume, and this is not seen in the society. So it's just overseen when you go maybe in a seminar, maybe in some special occasion or event. You find a boy child is rejected, is neglected in the society because they are not considered right now as part. It's like they are not part of the society, that I can say, because I talk with boys, and when I talk with them as a system analyst, when we try to go to the village and we try to talk to the boys and how they view the experiences, most of them are depressed. You find maybe food, maybe lack of job is another thing. You find sometimes they lack good role models, they end up into drug and so on. So as part of the system is failing, and so this is something that is affecting boy child at large, whereby the stereotype, the boy is being left and neglected, no guidance, no morals. You go to church, find more girls than boys. I think you should elaborate why we have, even in church, we don't have more boys playing role in church, we have more girls, and so it's something that is in the society, and there is dominance of gender, I can say gender inequality now. Let's say enough is enough, and as me, I just take this initiative. I take myself to be the change, to be the change, and me being part of the change is that we can empower boy child, and we have more gender quality society.
Oh, I thank you very much for your input, Mr. Chege. So what I'm getting from you is that there is this stereotype surrounding the boy child. Vile umesema, like the boy is regarded as, yeah, they're supposed to be strong, unaambiwa ujikaze, na unapata like when a boy wants to express themselves, they're regarded as weak, and I don't think that should be the case. We are supposed to give them a chance to express themselves so that they can be better individuals in our community. So, Dr. Migosi, so how do we break this stereotype? What do you think the roles that parents, educators, and caregivers should play in our society so that we can break this stereotype surrounding the boy child and be able to take care of their mental well-being?
In the African society, we had a situation whereby people believed that a man, starting from a boy, has to stand alone. And as such, it was so taken that if a boy consulted anybody, they felt like inferior. And that notion is grown over the time. But as technology and as the world is moving by, things have to change. We have always concentrated on our girl child without balancing the boy child. I personally, as a parent, I happen to be having at least some boys and some girls, some girl I have one girl and two boys. It is incidental that you'll find that I'll take more care to my daughter than I would most probably do to my sons. And it was like a natural thing. But I'll try to balance that the girls receive what they're supposed to have and the boys receive what they're supposed to have. But the demands for the girls is normally higher than the one of boys. It is more expensive to bring up a baby girl or a girl child than a boy child. And so more often than not, we have had our boy children neglected by their fathers, by their mothers, and they are left with nobody to take care of. That is why they resolve to go to the street, either take the snuff or drugs or cigarettes or alcohol or whatever thing. What ought to happen is that children should be taken equally. And particularly we are talking about the boy child. We are not talking about neglecting the responsibilities, the care, and the value that we have always placed onto our girls, because we have to grow them. If we don't, nobody will. But we should now change the way we act, the way we handle our boy children. We ought to handle them with care. The same way we handle girls, we also should handle them the same way. Many of us fathers, we are absent fathers. And from the African point of view, from 12 years, a young man is referred to as a man. And so they may not consult much, and particularly from their mother. Now, if the men can be sincere, stop being absent to take care of their own boys, the way mothers take care of their own girls, and particularly in the kitchen, then we can be able to raise up their morale, take care of them, and mentor them well. But what happens of late and nowadays? Many of the fathers are absent. They spend most of their times in the bars, in the clubs, although even mothers spend their times in the
Migosi and Mr. Chege for joining me today. This is a very important topic that I believe should be given a platform because the boy child is important equally to the girl child. So because of time, we have been cut short, but not to worry, there's a part 2, and please stay tuned in. So thank you very much for watching, and please like, subscribe, and share with your family and friends.